Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
My bite's not close to my bark buddies. And slid down so we can see a red suitcase right here for law enforcement if they're watching and you guys would like to come back here. Of her being out here. So this is what we're doing today. We will see you guys back here real soon.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Crazy people of YouTube. Good morning, good morning. It is 8:10 in the morning. I know I said I was going to start at 8:30, but we're going to have a little video for those that didn't get the chance to watch it last night. I did come live last night. I can only stay until about 9:30. I've got a hairdressing appointment this morning. It was for yesterday, but in light of the hurricane, that was canceled. It rained here, cats and dogs, literally all day long. It was just, some moments it would just be calm. It was funny because my neighbor brought me over some food, and he's like, it sucked. He's like, I got it ready, and I went to walk out the door, and it just started raining buckets, and he had to wait for the, the break and the rain and everything else. So it was a little interesting yesterday. It was off and on. It was almost like somebody turned on a faucet, right? Like you're there and it's off and then boom, it's on. It was just like that. So good morning, Ruby. It's nice to see you. Hindsight, Sheila. Good morning, Gigi for life. Shannon, nice to see you. Unicorn, good morning. Net L. Ashley, it's nice to see you. Joyce, good morning. Robert's girl, it's nice to have you. JB's mama, hello. Pebbles, good morning. Tammy Sue, second thesis 310, nice to see you. Elsie, good morning. Tammy, I got your messages. Thank you, love bug. Thank you. As many of you know, I'm safe. The hurricane didn't get Bullhorn Betty. Ian didn't get me, but it was close. Ian was much more devastating for our area personally. It's just sad that this hurricane went somewhere. So no matter how you look at it, I'm very thankful that our area didn't get hit again. But some area did. And that's a horrible place to be, feeling. It's like, thank you. Thank you for missing us. But, what about the people it didn't miss? And it's just, that's what we have to deal with every year. And it's almost like you feel guilty, it's one of those feelings. Like you always feel guilty because somebody had to be hurt. It's a natural disaster. There's no place for it to go. We're in its way. And we have to move out of its way. And a lot of our fixed, property, like homes, they can't be moved. This storm moves them. So it was kind of interesting, Jonathan Lee Riches was out there on the islands, a lot of where it hit. And he got a lot of shots of the before the hurricane. And you can see some of the shots after the hurricane, and you can see the devastation. It's sad. But the good news is I truly believe that, a lot of people had plenty of notice that the loss of life, if there is any, which I always believe there's going to be a few when a hurricane of that size comes through, but we just haven't quite heard about them yet that I'm aware of. I haven't been specifically looking that out, but you have to think that somebody probably got injured very gravely in something that massive. And why I choose to stay in, I don't know. Maybe the next one I may go, go out. But with me just having as much damage from Ian, and then this one barreling at us, I chose to stay home. I think it was the right decision. ZA, it's nice to see you this morning. Pebbles, if I didn't say, I think I did. Kim, it's nice to see you. Southern Grammy Wolf, it's nice to have the group back. Oh, Chadwell, nice to see you. Cynthia. Good morning, everyone. Let me see if I can scroll down here and see who else is in here that I haven't. Jack's Drama, nice to see you. BM Turtle Madness, good morning. It's nice to see you, love. What else do we got? Who else do we got? Pam, good morning. Akita Lover, I see you as well. I smell like a rose. Good morning, Jody, Skipper D, CA. Aw, CA has been a wonderful member of our group for 7 beautiful months. Thank you, and God bless you for that. Thank you. You are 1 in a million. Aw, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. Rhonda, it's nice to see you. I think that's just about it. If I missed you, Huntress is in the house. Good morning, Amanda. 3 Flying Doves, good morning. Good morning. So I think we got everybody to say good morning at least. I know it's been a little minute since we've had an opportunity to actually say good morning. So we went through the whole list. It's good. It's good. Today is the last day of the month. Holy crap, right? It's hard to believe. We are officially... We're almost through 3/4 of the year. By the end of next month, we're through 3/4 of the year. This year has flown by. It truly has flown by. Be a good guest is our, daily meditation. I call it daily devotional, but it's more like a meditation book, right? The language of letting go is designed to help us get through codependency. And so I find it's very uplifting for me personally, and I figured if it's uplifting for me, it might be uplifting for you guys. So the 31st says, guests come and go at the Blue Sky Lodge. Sometimes a skydiver comes to the drop zone for a weekend from a nearby town and needs a place to shower and sleep for an evening. Often people come from around the world to train and jump at skydive. I don't know the name. Elsinore? I don't know. You know me and my spelling. And it is a particular pleasure to offer our international friends a bed, shower, and the amenities of the lodge. Martin was such a guest. After spending years in the military, he decided to have some fun with what he had learned. He now recruits skydiving trainees from the United Kingdom and plans training excursions at Lake Elsinore, I think is the name of the lake, but I could be wrong. So if I butchered it, I apologize. Staying for several weeks at a time, he frequently brings his wife with him, but occasionally comes here alone. On one such solo visit, we invited him to stay at the Blue Sky Lodge, and we're thrilled that he accepted the invitation. All Blue Sky Lodge guests are told the same thing. Make yourself at home. The pool, hot tub, miniature golf course, DVD player, stereo, shower, food, beverages, books, prayer room, stunning mountain views, musical instrument, and contents of the refrigerator are here for your enjoyment. Help yourself. Martin was a good guest, Chip commented recently. He swam, he used the hot tub, ran, sat outside, and enjoyed the view. I agree, it gave us both pleasure to see Martin making himself at home and enjoying the gifts of the lodge, the gifts the lodge had to offer. He was respectful, grateful, and delightfully humble, but he was also confidently enjoying the pleasures and gifts available and offered to him. What kind of guest are you? Are you making yourself at home on this planet? Whatever the circumstances you find yourself in, are you taking delight and pleasure in the gifts and moments available to you each day? Or are you sitting uncomfortably on the edge of a straight-backed chair, wondering if it's okay to help yourself? We each have different gifts and pleasures available to us at any given time in our life. Sometimes we have to look and see what these gifts are. The pleasures may be as simple as a view of an old oak tree from our kitchen window, a big bathtub filled up with hot water to comfort our body and soul, or a walk around the city block surrounded by apartments we rented. Sometimes the best way to say thanks is to simply enjoy with humble confidence the gifts and pleasures that are offered to us today. Are you a good guest? Make yourself at home. It's your world too. I thought that was interesting. But as you guys can see, it's a lot of reading. But I think the messaging is that to me, what it said is quit walking around on eggshells. That's basically what it said. Let yourself go. Let yourself enjoy life. You know, if we're so concerned about everything else and everyone else, we're not stopping our lives to take the enjoyment of the simple pleasures of just living. And so I think that's a good testament of what you do. Just live, right? Just live, right? Who could have a problem if they just live their life for themselves? So, and enjoying it. There's nothing wrong with enjoying your life. I think a lot of people take life entirely too serious, and by the time that they start enjoying it, they realize they wasted a lot of time not enjoying it. That's just me personally. I'm guilty of it myself, right? I work from daylight to literally dark. I actually work from dark to dark. Today I didn't. I was exhausted. I think the whole hurricane, all of the adrenaline from the hurricane, it kind of wiped me out. And then I ended up taking a nap yesterday. So I was up unusually late last night, which made this morning a little rough around the edges, to say the least, a little rough around the edges. So before we get started this morning, I know I didn't have a whole lot of people here watching last night because it was scheduled. I think I was on at 9 o'clock at night. I very rarely come on that late. Many of you know I'm usually asleep in bed about that time, but I was doing a live. So if that doesn't tell you how crazy my day was yesterday, I don't know what to say. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and play this video. It does have, I would like you guys to stick around because in kind of the middle of I'm talking about Wee Gaskins. This is a notorious serial killer out of South Carolina. A couple years ago, I was in South Carolina on a different type of a trip. It was a personal trip, a political trip. And as you know, every time I go into anything for, a vacation, a political trip, or anything for me that has nothing to do with this channel, I always find a case to cover there. And so one of the cases that I thought to cover was Wee Gaskins. He was just this tiny little guy, but just filled with so much hate and evil. And the case was really interesting because people just were dying around him and nobody was connecting the dots, and he wasn't being charged, and then boom, 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 these bodies started showing up and they were all attaching to him. And so he did end up confessing to like 110 people, but they've only been able to find 15. So that is his total number, and that doesn't include but anyways, I'm going to let you guys watch this. We're going to have more coming out about this. This is content from a few years ago that I'm just now putting out that nobody's seen really. And this is not this is only the scratching of the surface. I went to all the places where the victims were found. We learned a lot of information. We talked to some people that lived during that time. I had an opportunity to meet one of his cousins. So it was really interesting, and just a case that, with all the craziness that goes on in crime news, it's kind of hard to even come up for water to cover not active cases, just kind of one of those cases that you're like, this is really interesting. I'd like to learn more about this, and of course with it being, Brian Koberger and Rex Heuermann and a serial killer, I thought, maybe it's a good time to start talking about Wee Gaskins and his disturbing story. And is there really 110 people out there? Is there another 100 people that have not been found after all of these years? I mean, you're talking about 40, 50 years ago. Is that right? Yeah, 40, 50 years ago and longer. So there is that possibility. And back then they did not know. They didn't have, people just disappeared, and you didn't know they disappeared because there was a lot of people hitchhiking at those times. There was just a lot of people moving about, they didn't have the communication abilities that we have now. And, kids left home and some of them just never came back. And parents didn't know what happened. So it just makes you wonder. I think there are people getting involved for selfish reasons. And despite Betty, You're probably talking about that. Listen, guys, just getting off topic here, and then we're going to go into this video, and then maybe we'll circle back. This is what I don't understand. First of all these people, they always talk about them exposing me. I put everything out there. You're not exposing me. I mean, if you really want to call it exposing, I expose myself because I'm throwing the content out there. And if I didn't throw the content out there, good Lord, everybody knows you wouldn't go out and get it. So, it's one of those things where I put my own self out there. So you're not exposing me. If you don't like the stuff I'm doing, don't say you're exposing me, because I'm putting the content out there. Therefore, I'm exposing myself, i.e. I'm proud of the work I do. But, they keep talking about how we do all these things. We intentionally cause problems in cases, and we cause pain to a family, and all these things. And I'm just sitting back and watching them do it all themselves. Everything that they said that we've done, which we've never done, they are showing that is what's in their heart and soul. Like, for example, this interview with the father, every single question that was asked to them was designed for them to, there was no good answer for any of that except to insult the mother of a missing child. And I don't see how any good can come of insulting the mother of a missing girl that is trying her best to take care of that missing girl's child. And you've got somebody that's, many states away, and I'm not saying that he's not in pain. He's not in pain. But I don't see how insulting the mother that's doing all this and frantic and living in that town, by the way, and having to go out every day and search for their child. I don't know how insulting her helps find Layla. But every single one of those questions that were asked there was no answer other than to insult the mother. So the creator designed those questions just to hurt the mother for whatever reason. I don't know. In one breath, the father says he didn't know that she was on this type of drug or had this horrible drug problem, but on the other sense, would only give her money when she got her life together and wasn't on drugs. So it kind of was a little contradictory. And that's what was also sad, because I feel like other people are going to tear this man apart because he wasn't being totally forthcoming and truthful, and neither was his wife. And it was because, like, every other sentence would contradict the one before. And so now you just put this man in a predicament where there's going to be other creators tearing his story apart. And what good is any of this doing to help find Layla? That interview was nothing for information, because they can't say what they know, just like I can't say what I know. And the information that they did say was they either really are completely out of the loop, or they're not saying and it's just really, and again, you got to be careful when you're on these lives, and they were able to get at least Layla's name out there, but I just don't see how insulting the girl's mom was helpful. I just don't see how hurting the mother, the grandmother, and and the other thing is they're always talking about how, what about the kids? What about the kids when the kids grow up and hear this? We hear that all the time from their camp, and here they are having a grandfather being very insulting and disrespectful to the grandmother. What about that grandchild whenever that child has to see that in the future? So again, all those things that they were saying for so long about this channel, and you just sit back and give them enough rope, and they'll expose themselves. I didn't have to be nasty to show the world what they're about. They're doing that all by themselves, and it was never about the protesting. It's never been about that. It's been about the great work we do, and we shine so much brighter than hate channels. And again, that was a hate-filled interview, in my opinion, and it's very sad because I felt it was very disparaging to Layla. And some people are trying to say that I'm triggered. Trust me, I'm not triggered. I just don't see how it helped. Please explain how. Oh, did they? Oh, wow. And it kicked me off. I subscribed and it kicked me off. I don't know what you're talking about. Weird. But Betty, oh, thank you. And so I just, if you're going to have an interview, why didn't they talk about things that were beneficial? People know that we're trying to get a search party together. Why not identifying areas? It really wasn't that type of interview. It was something to insult, yet again, Layla's mother that is really trying very hard to keep her stuff together. Remember, she lives in that town. She's raising her. I mean, she raised Layla. She's raising Layla's daughter. And the best that they've got is to insult her and to try to tear her down. Okay, well, if that's what makes you feel good, I mean, it seems like you guys were pretty proud of yourself for doing that. So, shame on you. Shame on you, and shame on putting that father through that. I'm sorry, just shame on you. All you did was cause a lot of hurt feelings between a father and a mother of a missing child. It didn't help anything, and shame on you. Just like I'm glad that made you feel better. I watched it and my heart broke that you would put this family in that predicament. And every single question you asked, there was no good answer other than to insult the mother. That's it. And shame on you. I don't know what to say. It's sad. But, every day we get to see the truth. The truth will set you free, right? So we'll just keep doing what we're doing. And I'm glad I stay out of the drama. I'm glad I don't do all this to the people. We come from a good place and a good heart, and we truly try to help. If we went down to 2,000, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. And I think the quality of the people on this channel and the quality of the programming on this channel, I'm very pleased with. I'm very pleased with. And we will always take quality over quantity any day of the week. We'll let them have the quantity over quality. Okay? So here is the video that everybody missed. I merged together a whole bunch of stuff because I know not every one of you have watched it. I know that, and if you have, you guys can watch it again because you know what? I do a good job, okay? I'm trying over here, all right? I'm trying with the editing skills. I'm trying with the emotional part of this. I'm trying to give you guys some decent content with new stuff. So this is kind of old content because I ran it last night, right? And we know if it's the next day, it's already expired, right? What is wrong with me? I haven't even got up and done a stick of movies, shows, or even videos. Shame on me. Shame on me. You guys, you know what? Everybody thinks this life is just cakewalk. I wish somebody would come step in my shoes. I bet you give me my life back quick. All these people, you take a day in my shoes, I'm telling you, you'll be taking those shoes off and you'll be paying me to take my shoes back. You'll be like, oh, nope. I'll give you $1 million. I'll give you $1 million to take your shoes back. Okay. That's what I thought. I hope you see this. Some don't. Hey, Quinny. Good morning, love bug. I hope you see this. Some don't like your style. We all don't always agree, but the traveling you do, you are one of the hardest working women on here. Thank you. Thank you. And don't forget Olivia. Olivia's usually right next to me, I'll go out there in the field by myself, but to be honest with you, I don't like doing it. I put myself in a lot of unsafe situations. Let's face it. I'd rather be doing that with a posse. I'm just saying, if I'm going to be there, I want somebody that can come and help, right? I don't want to be the backwoods with Jason Voorhees trying to figure out how to call a friend. Right? You can get a cheat, right? I'm phoning a friend. So I'm phoning a friend. All right, so I'm going to put this up here, guys. This is going to be about 12 minutes just to break it up, get you guys up to date on some information, stuff that we found out. Right. Okay, let's get started. You guys know I love you.
This is the story of Wee Gaskins, notorious serial killer from South Carolina. Donald Henry Gaskin, born March 13, 1933, and executed September 6, 1991, was an American serial killer and rapist from South Carolina who stabbed, shot, drowned, and poisoned more than a dozen people before his conviction for murder. Wee Gaskins has a long history of criminal activity resulting in prison sentences for assault, burglary, and statutory rape. His span of crimes ranged from 1953 to 1982.
Wee Gaskins actually made his victims dig their own graves. Back in those days, he'd pick up hitchhikers off the side of the road, and he says that there's more than 110 additional bodies. He could have just been trying to get a recognition for being the biggest serial killer in American history. Andra, aka Bullhorn Betty, out here in front of an area right off of Edie Ford Road. There were makeshift graves out here. Wee Gaskins actually made his victims dig their own graves. This is the area right here. The man was convicted of 15. This is not including the gentleman he blew up in jail that was on death row. He has 15 bodies confirmed on him, and he says that there's more than 110 additional bodies. Law enforcement doesn't believe that's a true number. They could not confirm that number. Back in those days, he'd pick up hitchhikers off the side of the road, and he said he murdered them. So there may be more bodies, there may not be. He could have just been trying to get a recognition for being the biggest serial killer in American history. He could have been being truthful. I don't see at what point him telling that he had 110 bodies. Why would he need to lie at that point? There's a lot more in and around the PD communities of South Carolina where there might be many victims of Wee Gaskin.
Now, before it goes on to the next video, I did want to tell you this is our videos related to the case in Jacksonville of the mass shooting. And there is an interview in here that hasn't been published. The first time it was published was last night, and it was a man describing his girlfriend's account of what happened, what she told him. And she was literally sitting in the car next to Angela, which was the 52-year-old woman that was gunned down in her car. She was an Uber driver. She was literally just dropping someone off at the store or picking something up, something to that effect, and literally just doing her job, and was gunned down senselessly in the parking lot. 11 bullets rang into her vehicle. And the gentleman that you will hear, so it's going to go a video of the, what it was like when we first got to the Dollar General. And then it's going to go into his interview. And then it's going to go into, I think it goes into the interview of the one witness. But I don't play that whole interview all the way through. I think I end it because it's a long-winded interview, and it just, if you want to see it, you can go and watch it. All these videos are in the video section of the Bullhorn Betty channel. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update and prepare you guys, because it is pretty heartbreaking. I can tell you, it was very emotional for us, where we've talked to a few of the leaders there. They are calling for separation, and it's very heartbreaking to hear. After all the strives I think this country has done, there's just evil out there, and I don't think separating based upon the color of your skin is going to help anything. I mean, I just can't for the life of me think that that's going to be beneficial to everyone or anyone, to be honest with you. But the climate has come to that. I mean, this is the second time that Jacksonville has been targeted in recent history, and so I kind of understand why they're at a point where they feel that way. I mean, let's face it. I don't want to discredit anybody's feelings on the heels of something like this happening. I mean, this was a senseless crime. There is a few things that I did find out, and he's obviously, which is well known now, he obviously had some behavioral and mental type issues in the past, so much so that he was Baker Acted in 2017. There was a hard time with the parents and him. The father was pretty much a stay-home dad, at least as far back as I could see, which was about 2010 was as far back as I went. And so he did have a parent figure in the home. So there's no good reason for this, but he was a 21-year-old kid that was still living at home. We don't know what that family dynamic was, but we know it had to have been pretty rough. He called his family before he committed this act. That tells me that his family, he wanted to hurt his family by this. So I think that there was a combination of a mental health issue here, which because of the mental health, I think it gave him an unnatural hate for a particular person or color of person. But I do think that the underlying issue in this particular matter was the mental health as opposed to the hate. That's just my perspective from the information that that we learned out there. And there was another lady that acknowledged it out there. She was in a pink top. She laid a cross, a beautiful cross out there at the memorial site. We got to walk with her and watch her put it up. And her testimony out there was empowering, and she talked about predominantly the mental health factor of this, and how she believes, she's dealt with adult people with mental health and the challenges that the families have, because once you're an adult, there's not a whole lot of resources out there to help the families of adult children or adult family members that have mental health. And her biggest complaint is we need to do more in that respect. And after listening to her, I have to agree that, I was blissfully unaware, that existed. But once she made it a point to bring it up, you look at the situation and you're like, yeah, they don't report the blacks that kill, the white people, I believe one race, the human race, and there's a different there. Excuse me, sorry, I'll just put it up so everybody can read it. My reading's been pretty horrible here. I believe one race, the human race. I do agree with that. I think we all have the same bones. We all believe red. And at the end of the day, we are all a number to our government. That's it. We are all in the same boat here. We're all in the same boat. And I do believe in the human race. And I just, it's sad that there is targeting based upon something that none of us can help. I mean, even hair color. I mean, we're born with a certain hair color that we can change if we so choose. I'm born dark-headed, right? And look at how light my hair is, right? So we can change that. We can put contacts into our eyes if we want to change our eye color. But you're talking about something that none of us have had a hand in selecting, and that is our skin color. And nobody should be ashamed to be who they are, ever. And if people do, I mean, that is exactly what we try to empower people here to live their best life and, be comfortable in their own skin, whatever that skin is. Trust me, God does not make mistakes. He doesn't make mistakes. And punishing somebody or targeting somebody based upon that, to me, is the most despicable thing that you could ever do. It just is, period. There's no place in our country in 2023 for that nonsense. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have an opinion. You don't have, that I'm sorry. If you don't treat people differently based upon the color of their skin, then don't treat them differently based upon the color of their skin. And that's what people have a problem with, is the people that don't walk around on eggshells. They're starting to target them. This man was a racist, and you see the damage what a racist does. Quit frequently throwing that name around at people you don't like just because you don't like them. Because you take away from the reality from people like this man. Just something to think about.
Details about what authorities are calling a racially motivated shooting rampage in Jacksonville, Florida. Police identifying the suspect as 21-year-old Ryan Christopher Palmetter, the white male allegedly shooting and killing 3 black people. Investigators releasing this chilling video of the suspect entering the Dollar General store on Saturday. He was armed with an AR-15 style rifle. Police say he fired multiple rounds before turning the gun on himself. The rampage was 11 minutes long. The Jacksonville community in mourning tonight, remembering the victims with vigils and gathering in prayer circles. All this taking place as thousands gathered in the nation's capital on Saturday to mark the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington. The sheriff saying the hate that motivated the shooting only adds an additional layer of heartbreak.
I want to begin by honoring the 3 precious lives that were lost yesterday. Angela Michelle Carr, 52 years old. Anolt Joseph, or AJ Laguerre Jr., 19 years old. And Gerald Deshaun Gallion, 29 years old.
It's hard to believe that this act of horror rocked Jacksonville, Florida. We were there as they started putting up the fence perimeter around the property when everything started feeling very real. I can personally tell you the somberness that we all felt while standing out there and watching the workers work as they removed debris and put up this fence as a perimeter to keep people out. As we witness a tow truck pulling in to remove the final car from the parking lot. This was so eerie, and it just made your heart stop. Screams that nobody could hear. This is very, very hard to watch. Understanding the sadness of the community, the pain that lies in the hearts of so many, for the reasons no one will know why hate exists.
Now, this next clip is going to be the interview of the gentleman. And so if you guys, if it's too hard for you to watch, you may want to consider, but it is pretty, it's pretty hard, you know, to hear the, his girlfriend's account. You can tell that he was deeply disturbed, hearing the news and realizing that his family, his granddaughter, you know, they all go there. And this could have been any of them. It was almost his girlfriend. His girlfriend sitting in the very next car next to the poor victim that had 11 bullets pelt her vehicle.
He would he shot her up too.
So your girlfriend, she works at the Dollar
No, she don't work there. She was coming to get something for my little girl and for her. And when she went in the store, she did her little shopping and everything. She came out with the lady. The lady gave her some ice. When she went to her car to put the ice in the back seat, that's when she saw him walking around the corner. So she dove on the seat. When she dove on the seat, she heard some shots. Tap, 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 tap. And she looked up. He was walking in the store. And after he walked in the store, she took off running. She hid behind this building. And then she went down that street behind the liquor store. Till she tried to get in two other houses. They wouldn't open the door. And luckily, a third lady let her in.
And you said he started shooting out in the parking lot? He
shot
up.
The lady in the parking lot before he went in the store. He shot that car 11 times. She saw the lady slumped over. And when she saw that, that was her first time seeing something like that. So she when I picked her up, she was hysterical. She leaned down in my seat. I said, somebody after you. She said, no, they just got through shooting up the Dollar General. The people called 911. She's leaning back in my seat because she's scared. I'm her protector, so I came up here to find out if anybody was messing with her. You know, luckily my little girl wasn't with her because we come here all the time. You know, so it's crazy, man. God really protected her, blessed her, whatever you want to call it. God did. He saved. And we had just talked the other night. That's her call. We had just talked the other night about, you know, how God spare our lives. And he spared mine a couple times, you know. And we had just talked about it, you know. And then this here happened, you know. And I'm trying to get in before they board it up. Because once they put them chains up, ain't nobody going to be able to get in there.
Yeah.
You know. I've been talking with them since it happened. I talked with an officer. He came to my house. I talked with the people on the phone. I talked with an officer Sunday morning because I was taking her to work. She needed to get her badge, and she needed to get her keys and her phone out of here. And he called the sergeant over. The sergeant told me, he said, well, you can't go in there right now. They still got it locked down, but we'll give you a call. Nobody gave me a call yet.
Where's his car at?
Who car?
The white boy.
I don't know. His car was on the side of the building, I guess.
Gotcha.
The black car ain't even up there no more, so they probably took those two cars, you know.
Did you know any other victim in the store?
No. My girlfriend was worried about, it was a lady and her baby in there. She was worried about that. And when she was coming, also she saw somebody get out the passenger side of the black car that got shot up. They went into the store. And around that time, that's when the guy started shooting. And, you know.
Well, we're really sorry for your community.
It's sad. She never seen nothing like that before.
It sounds horrible.
She was hysterical. She said she had to go back to work because she couldn't sit around the house. So I came to get her car.
So that was the witness account. You know, he wasn't there specifically. His girlfriend was. And again, you know, we have to remember there was a child in that store when this happened. There was a child in this store when this happened. Of all the ugly that goes on in the streets across this country and across this world, we try very hard, all of us, to keep our children away from violence and to protect them. And we never ever think simply going to the stores to get Pampers or to get food or to get just a pack of cigarettes or beer, whatever your flavor is. Nobody expects to go out and be gunned down senselessly. None of these people did a darn thing to this shooter. He wasn't angry with them, but he sure took it out on them. And again, another 20-something. And you know how many times I have said this on my show. There is something being cultivated in our environment that makes these young kids think that the only option they have is it's throwing temper tantrums with guns. What is cultivating that type of environment for our young folks? Nobody can answer that for me. So until we can answer that question, I think making any new laws or legislation needs to take a back seat. Because quite frankly, I don't feel like being one of these sitting ducks that has no rights and no guns when I have a crazed lunatic coming at me. Sorry. But let's just put this in perspective. Would that situation been different had there been a law-abiding citizen in that store with a gun? I don't know. I don't. Nobody has the answer. But until we do, I think we need to fix that problem first. Just my opinion. This is the last video, folks, and then we'll get on with the show.
We're at the Edwards Water University here in Jacksonville, Florida, and this is where it is alleged that the 21-year-old shooter, Ryan Palmer, came here first. The security guard says he didn't seem like he wanted to do the act of violence here, according to them. But he did see him put on his mask as well as the tactical gear before making his way to the Dollar General where the most unthinkable crime took place. And as you see, the historical building is right here. Why are we here is because the news report said that the masked shooter, which has now been identified as Ryan Palmer, 21 years old, from Clay County, made the 30-plus minute drive over to this area to carry out an unthinkable act. He was spotted right here at the Edwards Water University prior to going over to the Dollar General to carry out this hate-filled, racist act that was perpetrated on 3 innocent black lives here in this county.
Details about what authorities are calling a racially motivated shooting rampage in Jacksonville, Florida.
I want to begin by honoring the 3 precious lives that were lost yesterday. Angela Michelle Carr, 52 years old. Anolt Joseph, or AJ Laguerre Jr., 19 years old. And Gerald Deshawn Gallion, 29 years old.
A security officer saw Ryan here as he was approaching the school campus, and he kind of ran him off, so to speak. He watched this man, Ryan, put on a ski mask and tactical gear before pulling away from this university.
So, just to let you guys know that, it was very somber out there, and it's a deeply hurt community. I can tell you that. It's a deeply hurt community. And I hope that, America keeps making great progress to end gun violence and to end racism, true racism. Racist, there's no place for you among this country. We can all be proud of who we are. We can all be proud of our ethnicity, our heritage, our culture. We can all be proud of that. But when you start thinking that you are supreme to anybody else, to other human beings, you're wrong. There is nobody supreme. We are all here just trying to survive and have the best life we can have for our numbered days on this earth. And I think that needs to be spoken, and that needs to be addressed. There's no place for this. And I did want, and this is, and I do appreciate you, Eileen, for bringing this up, but this is my position on it, and I know you don't agree, but the bottom line is look at the places that are targeted. Look at them: stores, malls, schools, places where guns are not allowed to be. And so I really think that it puts a target on the backs of people because they're sitting ducks with no ways to defend themselves. And I preach on here, and we do want to teach peace and love. And for the people, normal people, that teaching is good, but that's not, when you have evil, you can't teach evil peace and love. Evil will do evil regardless. And unfortunately for me, I've seen it. We've all seen it. I mean, we're on true crime. We see the evil and wicked each and every day that we wake up. It's around us. It consumes our lives some days. But for me personally, I never want to be a victim. And if I am a victim, I damn sure want to be fighting tooth and nail for survival. And if I can put a threat down, standing 20, 30 feet away, that to me is, but now for people that, I don't think everybody should own a gun. No, I don't. I do agree that there are some people, like for example, when I was 15 and my mother, we were living alone for the first time in our life. My mom had left my father, and we had just somebody burglarized our house while my sister was there. She walks out of her room and there's a guy in our kitchen, and my sister starts screaming. It was very traumatic for her. And my mom, she ended up bringing a gun home. Now, I know my mother, okay, she's a rough, tough cream puff, but at the end of the day, I don't see where my mother could take another person's life. That is a dangerous situation. If you cannot use a gun just specifically for a deterrent, you have to be willing to pick that gun up and use it. Otherwise, that gun can be a weapon to be used on you. You have literally that chance to make a difference. And if you're not willing to do it, you have no business owning a gun, because that gun could be detrimental to your health. It could be detrimental to your health. So I don't believe, and you know what? But I again, who's responsible for that? Is it the gun, or is the person that was responsible for that gun? Not everybody should be entitled to it. I understand your position, and I'm sorry we disagree on this topic. I really, really am. But whose fault is it? Is it the gun's fault? Is it the lawful gun owners in this country? Or is it the ones that aren't taking the precautions? It's not the guns. We got to quit blaming the guns. We have to start blaming when somebody gets in their car intoxicated and goes and kills somebody with their car because they're intoxicated. Do we blame the car? Or do we blame the person in control of that car? We don't take cars away from people because cars kill people each and every day that we exist. We hold the people that utilize those cars as a weapon, intentionally or unintentionally. We hold the people, not the vehicle. So again, I don't want to be a sitting duck in a situation when I'm a responsible gun owner. I know how to use a gun, and I know how to protect myself. And I understand there are people out there that don't. But again, you can't blame the responsible gun owner. And let's face it, with new legislation, who's going to follow the gun laws? Who will follow the gun laws? The responsible, law-abiding gun owners. Even with the gun laws, do we honestly think the criminals are going to just all of a sudden say, we're not going to be criminals today. We're going to follow the law. So it's a hard discussion to have. It really is. And we're just going to have pro guns and people that are just totally anti-guns. And that's what's up for debate, right? And that's what creates and helps laws be fair. So we have the anti-guns and the pro-guns coming together and, finding out something that we can all live with, But me personally, taking the gun, no. You're going to be wrestling with me over mine. That's all I got to say. That's my protection. That's my, that's the only thing that makes this single female feel safe, right? So unfortunately, it's just where we are at. But I do appreciate, Aileen, you having a respectful conversation with me about this, especially since we're on opposite sides of the aisle on this. But that's the reason why it's so important to have democracy, right? Is so that we have both, and hopefully somewhere in the middle we can find something that's that everybody can live with. Me personally, constitutionalist, and the right to bear arms shouldn't be infringed upon. But I also realize that there are some really crazy people out there that should not have any ability to get a hold of a gun. So even though I'm a constitutionalist, I do believe that there is, you need to have reasonable laws, because to be honest with you, I haven't had to fire my weapon at a person. And I can tell you that is something I never, ever, ever want to have to go through. So, having those responsible laws, in my opinion, help keep people from being able to acquire guns in certain situations where they shouldn't have them. So it's not like I'm totally against reasonable legislation or anything like that. I just truly believe we need to start really talking about this, but talking about this responsibly and maturely. This idea that the guns are killing all these people, no, they're not. It's the person. It's how are kids getting hold of the gun? Because the person that owns the gun is being irresponsible. So I'd like to take the focus away from the gun being the problem, because again, the car's not the problem, right? It's the drunk driver. So let's quit taking it and blaming the item, and start blaming the person that's in control of that item or object, just like we do with drinking and driving and those types of deaths. So I do, but it does concern me that this gentleman, even though he was Baker acted, maybe because it was under the age, and just because you're Baker acted once doesn't mean you should not be afforded the opportunity to own a gun. So I don't want it to get that strict. But the sad part of this situation is that this young man got his guns lawfully and legally. So there was literally nothing in the laws. And there are no laws that in this particular situation, there's not any legislation that would have kept these guns out of this gunman's hands. There's none. He had no criminal record. You can't punish somebody that has no criminal record. He has no recent history. Even as an adolescent, you can't punish an adolescent for being Baker acted, because there's a lot of kids that go through phases between certain ages, predominantly 14 to 18, right? Us that have children that go through that we witness go through that. That area is really a rocky area. They're going through hormonal changes. They're going through behavioral changes. in an identity crisis. They don't know who they are as a person. There's all these things going on with these young kids. So you can't punish a child for the rest of their life because they had a breakdown or something and had to be admitted to and undergo a Baker Act. Now, if that Baker Act, that 72 hours was extended, then I'd be a little more concerned, right? But by law, they could only hold him without good cause, right? They could only hold him for up to 72 hours without good cause. So that means they didn't have good cause to even hold him. So there was nothing here that would have ever been able to take the guns out of this young man's hands. And I agree, Eileen, there's no excuse for any child to be killed by gun violence, period. There's nothing good that, I don't see how any, when we hear about the like Chicago, and the stray bullets, and stray bullets are getting kids as well. And this is in an area that has the strictest gun laws ever. So how are these kids and people being shot up on the roads of Chicago in the strictest gun law regulated area? It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, So there's a lot of sitting ducks out there that have no way to defend themselves because of those horrible gun laws. Think about it. Who's going to mess with somebody that has a gun on the side of their waistband? Like, that is in and of itself a deterrent, in my opinion. Like, you walk into a grocery store and you've got 15 people, every person in the line has a holster with a loaded gun in it. I doubt that store's getting robbed. I'm sorry, call me crazy. Just call me crazy. But I just don't see that store being the one that a robber is going to rob. You walk right into it, they're like, back out, just Emerson. Have a great day, guys. You can have what I needed. Like, it's a deterrent. It's not, but again, you can't just have a gun. You have to be trained with a gun. You got to know how to use it. You have to know best practice. And for the love of God, do not have it out. Do not have it in a drawer when you have your grandkids over. Every time, I always had my loaded gun in my drawer next to my bed. If anything happens, I could reach in there and grab it out. But when my grandkids came over here, that was in a locked box, and it was on the highest point. I have an armoire in there, right? This armoire is like 8 feet. No, not 8 feet. Definitely 7 feet high, right? And up on the armoire is where I stuck the locked box. Like, the kids couldn't even reach it even if they got the step stool. Like, it is out of their reach. That is being a responsible. It's always remembering it's there, and it's always remembering to put it away when little ones are around. And I can honestly tell you, one of the things that I think was the most beneficial to me as a child growing up was learning never to point a gun at a person. We weren't, even our water guns, we were not allowed to squirt people in the face we were not allowed to point guns, play guns or otherwise, at somebody's face. We would get our butts tore up. No joke. They did not play. But see, when I was growing up, when I was a little kid, there was gun racks in people's trucks. Everybody had a gun. These trucks literally would have, like, I think I seen a rack in the back of a pickup truck, 5 guns at least, if I'm recalling correctly. It was a gun rack. People didn't lock the cars either. Like, you had to pick up trucks with 5 guns in them, and people would leave the cars open. We were taught back in the day, you don't mess around with guns. It's a different world today. It's a different world today. And I wish I felt much safer back in the day than I do today. I can tell you that. I feel much safer. When I was younger, I felt much safer than I do today. We got our butts tore up. It didn't matter whose hands hit your butt. You acted up, somebody's hitting you. That's the country way. It could be the neighbor 5 doors down. You act up, they're paddling your butt. Those are the days I'm from, right? Kids have no clue this day. Kids have no clue. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. Yeah, right? You knew when to sit down and shut up. These kids today, they have no idea about the life that many of us lived. They don't even know what corporal punishment is. The wooden spoon I see beats butts. Oh my gosh. I remember the wooden spoon, the switches. Whew. Whew. I remember being paddled by somebody I didn't even know. You're Zadie Ann's daughter. Pop, pop, pop. She wouldn't like it if she knew what you were doing. You need to get on home. Okay. Mom. What? So-and-so beat me. Well, what did you do? I did this. Go to your room. I mean, you don't play. Now, this is the country way of life. You don't play, right? If somebody spanked your butt, you're getting a butt spanking when you get home. I'm just saying. That's how it works. I don't know why it works that way. That's just how it works. You get your butt whipped by anybody else but your parents. When you get home, you're getting your butt whipped by your parents. And good Lord, don't ever let your country parents hear you disrespect somebody. No. If you value your teeth, and you value your breathing, and you value your life, it would be my suggestion, don't be disrespectful. And definitely don't be disrespectful to your elders. That's a good way to pick yourself up off the ground with some like flying stars around your head. Just saying. Just saying. Back then, it wasn't called child abuse. It was called rearing a child. And as far as I'm concerned, that is still legal in all 50 states, despite what your children say. So I do believe in belts. I do believe in open hands, but I do not believe in hitting your child out of anger. I tell you what, the grandkids were well behaved when they were here. Private Bullhorn Betty. What is it? Private Bullhorn Betty is here for duty. It's here for duty. So, getting on to something a little bit different. It's, there's been some things that have been going on around the streets of YouTube about this 18-year-old out of Miami that just did the unthinkable to her infant child just born and, used a compactor. I really don't, I don't understand how, hey Ann, nice to see you, love. Yeah, I had to go pick my own Swift. Yes, I picked one. I tell you guys this all the time. And the kids watching, if your parents make you pick your own Switch, pick the thickest one. Pick the biggest one, okay? I'm telling you, trust me. I know it's terrifying looking at it, but trust me, the smaller ones hurt so much worse. Pick the thick, big one. Trust me. Trust Bullhorn Betty, okay? I'm a pro. I'm a pro at the switch picking, okay? I'm a pro. So anyways, well, let's just listen to this. Oh, hold on. Let me put this up first. Hold on a second. It's not up. We'll listen to this. As long as there's no music behind it, we'll listen to it.
18-year-old mom threw baby in trash compactor and is charged with murder, Al cops say. An 18-year-old threw her newborn in the trash and now faces capital murder charges, Alabama police say. Dothan police received a call from a hospital about a woman's family asking about a child that the woman said she dropped off 11 days prior, according to an August 24 news release from the police department. The hospital, Southeast Health, said it had no records of this happening. When police began investigating, they found 18-year-old Jakayla Ashanti Williams had given birth on August 13. Her family didn't know she was pregnant or gave birth until August 23, officials said. She told family she took her newborn to the hospital, according to the release. Police say the family grew concerned and went to the hospital where Williams said she took the baby. However, police say Williams did not take the child to the hospital. The day Williams gave birth in her home, she went to an apartment complex on the west side of Dothan, wrapped her child in a mattress protector and zipped him in a duffel bag, then placed the live newborn in a trash compactor, police say. In 27 years of law enforcement, I've never even heard of anything like this, Dothan Police Chief Will Benny said in a news conference broadcast by WTVY. Just a quick word from our sponsor.
If you're a State Farm customer affected by the recent hurricane.
Okay. Well, there you got the gist of it. So she's just, I don't even know what to say about this. I really don't. There's so much more out there this day and age than there were ever when we were growing up, period. There were literally no drop boxes for children. There was no way to, when you got pregnant and you had a child, to give that child away and be free of any legal and criminal consequences from doing so. Nowadays, you can take this child to any hospital, any fire department. Like, if you don't want that child, when that child comes out of your body, you literally can walk anywhere and give that child up free of charge, no questions asked, no criminal conduct, nothing. You've already given birth to this child. Why injure it? Drop it off. Drop it off at any fire department, any hospital, and turn around, walk out, and leave. You know the child will be okay. The child will go to a beautiful and loving home. There's no need to injure children this day and age. There's just none. There is no good excuse for any teenage child that gives birth to a child to kill that child. There's no excuse for it. There is too many ways to get out from under that pregnancy this day and age. You hide it, fine. You don't want the child, fine. You give birth to the child, okay. But why do you need to injure or kill that child? That child didn't ask for this. That child didn't ask for any of this. And your last act is to injure the baby that you created, that the baby didn't ask to be created? No. If you can have that child, pick that child up and get it to safety and turn around, walk away, your problems are the same, right? Except now you don't have to go to jail. Now you don't have to deal with a criminal legal process. Now you don't have to worry about your face being plastered across this country for being the most despicable parent in the whole entire world that does something this depraved. This day and age, there's no good excuse for this. None. So they're saying, I don't think they're going to be seeking the death penalty. I don't know if this rises to the death penalty, the need for the death penalty, to be honest with you. Let me see if I can share this. Share this tab. There we go. There we go. So that is the mother, wherever it went. It has this thing about changing. Get back one. There it is. So there she is, and I don't think this rises to that. Okay, you know, what she did was absolutely horrible, and I absolutely believe she needs to. She must be mentally ill. Some people are mentally ill, Eileen. Some people are not. I mean, some people just don't know what to do. They just don't know what to do. Do I think that this rises? I mean, it's pretty depraved. I mean, I have to be honest with you. The details of this case are beyond disturbing, and she needs to pay for that. What she did was wrong, and I'm sorry. Anybody under the sun would know that what she did was wrong. She knew her actions were wrong, and she did it anyways, whether she was scared, terrified, whatever her reasons were. I don't believe it should rise to the level of her life being taken, but I do believe she needs to pay a heavy consequence for this action against her child. The reason why is one, predominantly her age. Her age is a factor in my thought process. She's young. I'm sure she was terrified. I'm sure she just didn't have anybody to talk to. We don't know what was the situation that happened to her that caused her to get pregnant. There could be more to that story as well. And so, I don't think, even though I am an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, I also believe in fairness of the justice system. And I don't think it would be fair for her to lose her life over this particular matter. It is disgusting and depraved as it is. I think she needs to pay. I think she needs to pay for her crimes. I think she does. There's nothing in my mind that would say no for that. I'm sorry. She needs to pay. And if she gets 20 years, I probably wouldn't cry over that. But I don't think that she should be eligible for the DP for this case. I don't know this. Now, if the situations change where we find out that she's just an evil person and she did this because it made her feel good, yes, DP absolutely on the table. But short of that intent, short of that specific intent of evilness, no, I don't think that should be the case. I don't want to take care of her for 20, 30 years, but if that's what we must do, that's what we must do. Mental health is a big issue, yes, because and let's think about this. Why is our country, let's get into the mental health, why is our country always peddling medication to us? Do you notice that we never go to the doctor and they say, hey, your cholesterol's high, this is what you need to do. And if you can't do that, then we'll have to go to plan B, a pill. Why is it always, oh, your cholesterol's high, I need to prescribe you so-and-so? Why are we not being taught how to, instead of taking a pill for everything, you guys remember the chemical effects that it's having on the body? Could this be what's deteriorating our genetics and our genes and causing this problem? We're told we need to inject our children with not antibiotics, but with their booster shots and stuff like that. Back in the day when I was growing up, I think there was 5 things in that. Like there's like 19 or 20 different things that they're shooting into your kids at 6 months old. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like it's the stuff that can kill them, chicken pox, measles, whatever you need to, do for that. But what is this other crap you're putting in our kids? And I'm sorry, but we had, things like this but it was such a smaller level. A lot of it could be the fact that people are using, illicit narcotics more and having a lot of children, and that could be affecting their development, causing more mental ill. But there's something, and I'm sorry, but I don't think it's natural. I just don't. I don't think it's because we're waking up one day and we just have an abundance of ADHD and spectrum children. There's something that's causing this to happen at such alarming numbers that nobody is wanting to address. Could we be unintentionally doing this to our children because we're following, what the CDC is telling the doctors that we need to follow? Like, I just stopped. I'm sorry. We need to start looking after this. And educating ourselves and asking the doctors, what are you injecting our kids with? What are you giving my kids? When I was growing up, when you were pregnant, you didn't take medication. You don't take Tylenol. You don't take anything. You eat fresh fruits and vegetables. You don't eat processed stuff that has preservatives or anything in it. You eat all healthy, all natural, cook your own food type of pregnancy. That's the way that when we were growing up, people were taught to do. So for a doctor, when you're pregnant, to be giving you a prescription drug, I'm sorry, I'd have to, unless it's life-threatening, I'm not sure how comfortable I personally would feel about taking any medication while pregnant. I haven't been pregnant. I would love to. Many of you know my story. But I had children, I married into kids. I had grandkids, I have grandkids. So I just don't know. And, I remember, like, even my mom, she, when she was pregnant with my little sister, I was 18 years old when she got pregnant. And she had fresh fruits and vegetables every single day. She didn't eat processed food. She didn't go out to eat. She didn't drink wine. She didn't drink coffee. She drank water. She drank juice. She drank whatever. I mean, occasionally I think she did have coffee. I'm sure she cheated a little bit. It's probably why my sister's a little cray-cray. Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just joking. I'm just joking, sis. I'm just joking. But I think people need to be very cautious. Oops. It's time for guys, I gotta go. It's time for me to get to the hairdresser. But we need to be cautious what we're introducing into our bodies. I'm sorry. Even at the doctor's request, if it's not life-threatening and you're pregnant, I don't know how comfortable I would feel about putting any pharmaceutical in my body unless I absolutely had to have it. If my child was affected, if my child is going to succumb if I don't take this, or I'm going to succumb if I don't take this, if I'm going to get preeclampsia or something like that, maybe I'd be a little different. But I'm not taking a pharmaceutical because my feet are swelling, or I need more energy, or, whatever the number, I get liver spots, or, the number of things that could potentially happen, right? So, anyways, that's my 2 cents. I will be back here later today after I get my hair done. I've got a few errands to run, and then after that, I will be back here. We'll go live again, and we'll kind of dive a little more into detail in some of these criminal cases. And if you guys potentially have any new cases that you're following or monitoring or watching, please, by all means, we'll have an opportunity at the end of the show later this afternoon for you to come up, either on phone or panel, and tell me about a new case that you would like to get some attention to. And we're going to try to do that and see if we can help some more people. So anyways, guys, I hope you have a great day. God bless. I will be back here later this afternoon. I got to get at least a few videos out for TikTok, and then I'll get those over here as well. But if you haven't liked, share, or subscribe, please consider doing all three, but definitely subscribe if you want to get the latest and greatest. God bless.